Captain Han Wu stood on the bridge of the bright dawn, watching the stars through the main screen. The ship moved slowly through empty space, far from Earth and far from any known worlds. His crew had been out here for 3 months, making maps of new star systems and looking for planets that humans might visit someday. "Captain, we are getting close to the next system," said Navigator So-min from her station. She was a young woman with sharp eyes who never missed anything on her. "Charts. Should we start the deep scan?" Hyen-Woo nodded. "Yes, begin scanning. Let us see what this system has to offer." The Bright Dawn was not a big ship, but it was strong and well made. It carried the best sensors that Earth could build, along with enough weapons to protect itself if needed. Space was a dangerous place, and every human ship was ready for trouble. Chief Engineer Dong-ho looked up from his control panel. He was an older man who had been fixing ships since before Hyen-Woo was born. "All systems are working fine, Captain. The engines are running smooth, and the weapons are ready if we need them." "Good," Hyen-Woo said. "Communications Officer GA? Any signals from this system?" Jai shook her head. She was busy listening to radio waves and other signals that might come from planets or other ships. "Nothing yet, Captain. This system seems empty, just like the last 5 we checked." The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of the ship's engines and the beeping of computers. Everyone was doing their job, but Hyen-Woo could tell his crew was getting tired. They had been traveling for months without finding anything interesting. Just empty space, dead rocks, and gas clouds. "Captain," So-min said suddenly, her voice more excited than before, "I am picking up something strange. There are energy readings coming from the outer part of this system." Hyen-Woo moved to look at her screen. "What kind of energy?" "I do not know. It is not like anything we have seen before. The patterns are very different from our ships or any natural space objects." Dong-ho left his station and came over to look. "Those readings are very big, Captain. Whatever is making them must be huge. Could it be a natural thing? Maybe some kind of space storm?" Hyen-Woo asked. "No, sir," So-min said, studying her instruments carefully. "This is definitely artificial. Something made by intelligent beings." The bridge became very quiet. This was what every exploration crew hoped for and feared at the same time. Finding other intelligent life was the greatest discovery possible, but it was also the most dangerous. "How far away?" Hyen-Woo asked. "About 6 hours at our current speed," So-min replied. "Jai, start recording everything. If this is first contact, Earth will want to know every detail." "Yes, Captain," Jai said, her fingers moving quickly over her controls. Hyen-Woo thought carefully about what to do next. The standing orders from Earth were clear. If they found signs of alien life, they should observe carefully, try to make peaceful contact, but always be ready to defend themselves and escape if needed. "Dong-ho, check all our systems again. Make sure the engines can get us out of here quickly if we need to run. Also check the weapons." "Already on it, Captain," Dong-ho said, moving back to his station. "So-min, change our course. Take us closer. But keep us ready to turn around fast." "Yes, sir." The bright dawn turned toward the strange energy signals. As they got closer, the readings became stronger and more complex. Whatever was out there was definitely not human. "Captain," Jay said, "I'm starting to pick up some kind of radio signals. They are very weak, but they are definitely artificial. Can you understand them?" "No, sir. The patterns are completely different from any human language or computer." Code. Hours passed as they moved closer. The crew worked quietly, everyone focused on their instruments. The energy readings kept getting stronger, and now they could see that the signals were moving. "Captain, those energy sources are moving in formation," So-min reported. "I think they are ships." "How many?" "At least 3, maybe more." "They are still too far away to be sure." Hyen-Woo felt his heart beating faster. This was really happening. After all the years of wondering if humans were alone in the universe, they had finally found someone else. "Distance?" he asked. 2 hours now. "Sir." "All right, everyone listen carefully," Hyen-Woo said, looking at each member of his crew. "We are about to make history. This could be the most important day in human history. We need to be smart, careful, and ready for anything. Should we send a message to Earth? Jay asked. Not yet. The signal would take months to reach them. Let us see what we are dealing with first. As the bright dawn continued toward the alien ships, the crew prepared for first contact. Dong-Ho checked and double-checked every system on the ship. So-Min studied the movement patterns of the alien vessels, trying to understand their technology. G.A. worked on setting up translation programs, hoping to communicate when the time came. Captain, I am getting much clearer readings now, So-Min said. There are definitely 3 ships, and they are not like anything we have ever built. What do you mean? They seem to be made differently. Very smooth and curved, not like our angular designs. And the energy pattern suggests they use completely different technology from us. Are they armed? So-Min studied her screens carefully. I cannot tell, sir. If they have weapons, they are not like ours. Keep watching. Dong-Ho, how are our defenses? Weapons are charged and ready, Captain. Shields are at full power. Good. Remember, we want to be peaceful, but we will not be caught defenseless. The bridge fell quiet again as they continued their approach. In the distance, barely visible as tiny dots of light, the alien ships waited. Soon, 2 very different kinds of beings would meet for the first time. And no one knew what would happen next. Hyun-Woo looked at the stars around them and wondered what the aliens were thinking right now. Did they know humans were coming? Were they peaceful or hostile? Were they as nervous as his crew? Whatever happened next would change everything for both species. The age of humans being alone in the universe was about to end. Commander Veltar stood in the central chamber of the Silent Whisper, watching the flowing displays that showed information about space around them. His ship was beautiful, with smooth curves and surfaces that seemed to flow like water. The Altarian way was to make things that worked in harmony with the universe, not to fight against it. Commander, we have detected something unusual, said Science Officer Catherine. She was young for an Altarian, with the silver markings on her skin still bright with youth. There is an artificial object approaching our position. Veltar moved to look at her display. The information flowed across the screen in patterns of light and color that told the story of what their sensors had found. Another ship? Yes, but not like any design in our records. The construction methods appear to be completely foreign. This was exciting news. The Altarian Confederation had been exploring space for thousands of years, and they knew most of the spacefaring species in this part of the galaxy. Finding someone new was rare and wonderful. What do we know about them? Veltar asked. The ship appears to be much smaller than ours, but it shows signs of very different technology. The hull seems to be made of metals that we do not commonly use. Veltar was pleased. Meeting new species was always a happy event for Altarians. In all their long history, they had never met a species that was not willing to talk and share knowledge peacefully. Prepare the welcome protocols, he said. Let us greet our new friends properly. Meanwhile, on the human ship, Captain Hyun-Woo watched his screens as they got closer to the alien vessels. The ships were beautiful, he had to admit, but they looked nothing like human designs. Captain, we are close enough now to try communication, Jay said. She had been working hard to set up every kind of signal system they had. Good, send the standard first contact message on all frequencies. GA pressed several buttons and the ship began sending out a carefully prepared message. It included mathematical concepts, pictures of the solar system, and basic information about humans. The message was designed to show that humans were intelligent and peaceful on the Altarian ship. Catherine detected the signals immediately. Commander, they are sending us information. It appears to be some kind of greeting. Excellent. Begin the standard analysis and prepare our own welcome message. Catherine worked quickly, but she soon found problems. Sir, their communication methods are very strange. They seem to use much more complex patterns than most species. And their mathematics is arranged in a way I have never seen before. Veltar was not worried. All species develop differently. We have always found ways to communicate. Keep working on it. On the human ship, Ge was having her own problems. Captain, I am receiving signals from them, but I cannot understand. The format, it is like nothing in our computer databases. Keep trying, Hyanwu said. Use every translation program we have. Both ships continued sending messages back and forth, but neither side could understand the other. The mathematical concepts that seemed simple to humans were arranged in ways that confused the Altarians. The artistic patterns that Altarians used to show peaceful intentions looked like random noise to human computers. Captain, So-Min said, the alien ships are moving into a different formation. What kind of formation? They are spreading out in a pattern around us. It could be a greeting formation, or it could be tactical. Hyunwoo felt tension growing in his stomach. Dong-ho, check our weapon systems again. All systems ready, Captain. This was standard procedure for human ships. Whenever they encountered something unknown, they made sure their defenses were working. It had kept human crews alive many times before. On the Altarian ship, Catherine noticed the energy changes immediately. Commander, the alien vessel is charging its weapon systems. Veltar was surprised. Weapon systems? Why would they do that? I do not know, sir. Perhaps they do not understand that we are peaceful. This was very strange to the Altarians. In their experience, weapon systems were only used by the few species that had not yet learned to live in peace. Such species usually stayed close to their homeworlds until they grew wise enough to join the galactic community. Perhaps they are just being careful, Veltar said. Continue trying to communicate. Show them that we mean no harm. The Altarian ship began broadcasting stronger peaceful signals using every method they knew to show friendship. They sent pictures of their homeworld, images of Altarian families, and mathematical concepts that represented cooperation and growth. On the human ship, these signals looked very different. Captain, they are sending much stronger signals now. GA reported, the energy levels are increasing. Could they be scanning us? Hyanwu asked. It is possible, sir. Some of these signals could be sensor sweeps. So, Dashmen, are they changing position again? Yes, Captain, they are moving to surround us completely now. To human eyes, this looked like the aliens were getting ready to attack. Surrounding an enemy was a basic military tactic. Hyanwu had to make a decision. All hands, this is the captain. We are at yellow alert, all crew to battle stations. Throughout the ship, humans began preparing for possible combat. They checked weapons, powered up shields, and got ready to fight or run. This was what they had trained for. The Altarians detected these preparations immediately. Commander, their weapon systems are now at full power, Catherine said with worry. In her voice, they appeared to be preparing for battle. Battle? But we have done nothing threatening. We have only sent messages of peace. Perhaps they do not understand our peaceful intentions? Veltar was confused and concerned. This had never happened before. Send the universal peace symbol, all species recognize it. The Altarians transmitted a complex mathematical pattern that represented harmony and cooperation. Every species they had ever met understood this symbol. On the human ship, the computers tried to analyze the new signal. Captain, they are sending a very complex mathematical sequence, Jay said. It could be coordinates for an attack or maybe a code of some kind. Can you decode it? Working on it, sir, but it will take time. The two ships continued to face each other in space, each side trying to communicate but completely misunderstanding the other. The humans saw military tactics where none existed. The Altarians saw aggression where there was only caution. Captain, should we try moving away to show we are not hostile? So-Min asked. No, that might make them think we are weak or planning something. Hold position but stay ready. On the Altarian ship, Veltar made his own decision. Continue all peaceful communications. If they truly do not understand, we must be patient. All intelligent species eventually learn to communicate. Neither side realized that they were both trying to do the same thing, make peaceful contact, while staying safe. But their different histories and different ways of thinking made each side's careful behavior look threatening to the other. The universe held its breath as two species tried to bridge a gap that was much wider than the space between their ships. The tension in space grew thicker as both ships tried to understand each other. Captain Hin Wu walked around his bridge, checking each station while his crew worked hard to figure out what the aliens wanted. "Status report," he said to Dong Ho. "All systems are running perfectly, Captain. But we have been at yellow alert for 2 hours now. Should I run the standard weapon diagnostic?" Haiyan Wu thought about this. Every human warship ran weapon diagnostics every 4 hours during alert status. It was basic safety. You needed to know your weapons would work if you had to use them. Yes, run the full diagnostic. We need to know everything is working properly. Dong Ho began the diagnostic sequence. Deep inside the ship, weapon systems powered up one by one to be tested. Energy flowed through laser cannons, missile launchers charged and discharged safely, and defensive systems cycled through their operation. Modes. It was all routine, something done thousands of times on thousands of human ships. On the Altarian vessel, Science Officer Catherine watched her displays with growing alarm. "Commander, the alien ship is powering up all of its weapon systems." "What?" Veltar moved quickly to her station. "Are you certain?" "Yes, sir." "Every weapon on their ship is charging to full power. Energy readings are increasing rapidly across all their weapon systems." Veltar felt a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature of his ship. This was completely unexpected. Could they be preparing to attack? "The energy pattern suggests they are testing their weapons, sir." "This appears to be preparation for combat." Never in Altarian history had a first contact situation turned hostile. It was unthinkable. Every species they had ever met had been peaceful or at least willing to talk before fighting. "Are our shields ready?" Veltar asked. "Commander, our ships do not have military shields," Catherine reminded him. "We have only basic protection from space debris and radiation." This was the problem. Altarian ships were built for exploration and peaceful contact. They had some basic defensive systems, but nothing designed to stop military weapons. Why would they need such things when warfare was something that only happened on primitive worlds? On the human ship, Navigator So Min was watching the alien vessels carefully. "Captain, the alien ships are beginning to move again." "What kind of movement?" "They are backing away from us but staying in formation. It looks like they are trying to get to a safer distance." To So Min's trained military eye, this looked like the aliens were preparing for battle. Moving to a better tactical position was something any smart commander would do before attacking. "Captain," she said, "I recommend we also move to a better position. If they are preparing to attack, we should not let them choose the battlefield." Haiyan Wu looked at his tactical display. The alien ships were indeed moving into what could be attack positions. "Agreed. Move us to position Alpha 7. Keep our weapons pointed at them, but do not target them directly yet." The bright dawn began to move, turning to show its strongest weapons to the alien ships while moving to a position that would let it escape quickly if needed on the Altarian ship. This movement looked very threatening. "Commander, they are turning their weapons toward us," Catherine reported. "And they are moving to what appears to be an attack position." Veltar was shocked. This was getting worse and worse. "Send an immediate distress signal to the nearest Altarian fleet. Tell them we have encountered a hostile alien species." "Sir, should we retreat?" "No, if we run, they might follow us to other Altarian worlds. We must stay and try to understand why they are being aggressive." The distress signal shot out into space, traveling faster than light toward Altarian territory. It would bring help. But help that was not designed for military action. On the human ship, Communications Officer J was still trying to understand the alien signals. "Captain, they just sent a very powerful signal toward the outer system. It could be a message to other ships." "Calling for reinforcements," Haiyan Wu said grimly. "How long before their backup arrives?" "Unknown, sir." "It depends on how far away their other ships are." "So Min, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we have made contact with aliens, but the situation is tense. Request immediate support." "Yes, Captain." The message to Earth would take months to arrive, but there were human patrol ships closer by. They could be here in days or weeks. Dongho, how did the weapon diagnostic go? All systems are perfect, Captain. Every weapon is ready to fire on your command. The routine weapon check was now complete, but the Altarians did not know it had just been a test. To them, it looked like the human ship had fully prepared for war. Commander, they have completed charging all their weapons, Catherine reported. They are now fully armed and ready for battle. Veltar made a difficult decision. Begin emergency protocols. If they attack, we must try to survive long enough for help to arrive. The Altarian ship began its own preparations, but these were very different from human military preparations. They powered up their communication systems to maximum, hoping to record everything that happened so other Altarians could learn from it. They prepared their emergency escape systems, designed to save the crew if the ship was destroyed. They activated their distress beacons, hoping other ships would know what had happened to them. To human sensors, these preparations looked like the aliens were getting ready to fight. Captain, the alien ships are powering up multiple systems, so men reported. It looks like they are preparing for combat. All hands, this is the captain. We are now at red alert. Prepare for possible combat. Throughout the human ship, the crew prepared for battle. They had trained for this, even though they had hoped it would never happen. Humans had always known that not every alien species would be peaceful. The irony was terrible. Both sides were trying to avoid violence, but everything they did to protect themselves made the other side think they were planning to attack. The humans' careful military procedures looked like aggression to the peaceful Altarians. The Altarians' emergency preparations looked like battle preparations to the military-minded humans. Captain, should we fire a warning shot? So men asked. Maybe they will understand that we are ready to defend ourselves, but do not want to fight. No, that might start a battle we cannot stop. Hold fire unless they shoot first. On the Altarian ship, Veltar gave similar orders. Do not activate any systems that might be seen as weapons. We must not be the first to commit violence. Both commanders were wise and peaceful, but they were trapped by misunderstanding. Each side's attempts to show readiness while avoiding conflict looked like preparation for war to the other. The two groups of ships faced each other in the darkness of space, each convinced that the other was about to attack, each determined to survive the coming battle, and neither realizing that the other wanted peace just as much as they did. In the distance, reinforcements from both sides were already on their way, racing through space toward what both believed would be the first interstellar war in this part of the galaxy. Neither side knew that their reinforcements would only make the misunderstanding worse. 3 days had passed since the tense standoff began. Both groups of ships maintained their positions, watching each other carefully, waiting for the other to make the first move. Then the reinforcements started to arrive. Captain Taeyong brought the heavy cruiser Iron Mountain out of hyperspace with a flash of blue light. The massive warship was 3 times the size of the Bright Dawn, covered in armor and bristling with enough weapons to destroy a small moon. Behind it came the fast attack craft Silver Arrow, commanded by Lieutenant Commander Bill Ra, a small ship built for speed and packed with missiles. This is Captain Taeyong to Captain Hyan Wu. We received your message about hostile aliens. What is the situation? Hyan Wu felt relief at hearing another human voice. Captain Taeyong, we have 3 alien vessels in a standoff position. They appear to be waiting for something, possibly reinforcements. Understood. We are moving to support position. The Iron Mountain moved into formation with the Bright Dawn, its massive bulk making the smaller ship look tiny. The Silver Arrow took position on the flank, ready to strike fast if needed. On the Altarian ships, the arrival of human reinforcements caused complete panic among the sensor operators. Commander! Catherine's voice was high with shock. The aliens have brought a massive warship. The energy readings are incredible. Science Officer Catherine had never seen anything like the human heavy cruiser. Her scanners were showing weapon systems beyond anything in Altarian records. The ship's armor was thicker than most Altarian ship hulls. Its power output was enormous. How big is it? Veltar asked, though he was not sure he wanted to know. At least 3 kilometers long, sir. The weapon systems alone are larger than our entire ship. Veltar felt something that Altarians rarely experienced: true fear. What kind of species builds ships like that? Sir, there is more. They have brought a second ship. It appears to be designed purely for attack. It has no exploration equipment, no science facilities, just weapons and engines. Veltar looked at the tactical display showing the human ships. The species they had tried to peacefully contact had brought warships that could destroy entire Altarian fleets. What kind of civilization developed such terrible weapons? Has our help arrived yet? He asked. Yes, sir. High Mediator Zephana's diplomatic fleet is approaching. The Altarian reinforcements were very different from the human ones. Instead of warships, they brought floating cities of crystal and metal, beautiful vessels designed for diplomacy, science, and peaceful contact. The largest ship was the Harmony's Voice, a magnificent vessel that looked like a work of art moving through space. High Mediator Zephana was the most skilled diplomat in the Altarian Confederation. She had successfully made peaceful contact with dozens of species. Her ship contained libraries of galactic law, translation equipment for thousands of languages, and meeting chambers designed to make any species feel comfortable. Commander Veltar? This is High Mediator Zephana. We are here to help resolve this situation peacefully. High Mediator, I am very glad you are here, but I must warn you, these aliens have brought massive warships. They appear to be a military species. Zephana studied the sensor readings of the human ships. Like all Altarians, she had never seen anything quite like them. Their ships are certainly heavily armed. But perhaps this is simply their way. Many young species go through a military phase before they learn wisdom. On the human ships, the arrival of the Altarian diplomatic fleet caused its own kind of confusion. Captain, more alien ships are arriving, so men reported from the bright dawn, but these are very different from the first ones. Captain Taeyong studied the sensor readings from his position on the Iron Mountain. What do you mean, different? They are much larger, sir, but they do not appear to have any weapons at all. In fact, I cannot detect any military systems on them whatsoever. Lieutenant Commander B.O. Ra spoke up from the Silver Arrow. That makes no sense. Ships that size should have massive defensive systems. Are they hiding their weapons somehow? I do not think so, Commander. These ships appear to be completely peaceful. No weapons, no military shields, no armor. They are beautiful but defenseless. This created a puzzle for the human commanders. Why would the aliens bring unarmed ships to a potential battle? Either they were very confident in their ability to win, or they were planning something the humans could not understand. Could they be hospital ships or evacuation vessels? Taeyong wondered. Possible, sir. Or they could be command ships that coordinate attacks from a safe distance. On the largest Altarian ship, Chief Engineer Dong Ho was running new scans of the alien vessels when he made an important discovery. Captain Hyan Wu, I think I understand something about these aliens. What is it, Dong Ho? I have been studying their ship designs very carefully. These ships are not built for war at all. They are built for peace. Explain. Look at their hull construction. Everything is designed for efficiency and beauty, not protection. Their power systems are optimized for science and exploration, not weapons. Even their engines are designed for comfort, not speed or maneuverability. Hyan Wu frowned. But they called for reinforcements when we arrived. Yes, but look at what kind of reinforcements they called. No weapons, no armor, no military systems. At all, Captain, I think these aliens do not understand war. This was a shocking idea. Every human grew up knowing that the universe was dangerous and that you had to be ready to fight for survival. The idea that an entire spacefaring species might not understand warfare was almost impossible to believe. Are you saying they are completely peaceful? I'm saying they might not even have a concept of space combat. Look at their formations. They are not tactical at all. They are positioning themselves for maximum communication efficiency, not for battle. Communications Officer GA had been listening to this conversation while continuing to work on translation protocols. Suddenly, she made a breakthrough. Captain, I think I'm starting to understand some of their signals. What are they saying? They keep sending the same mathematical patterns over and over. I think they are trying to show us they are peaceful. These patterns represent cooperation, harmony, growth, all peaceful concepts. The revelation hit the human officers like a cold wave. They had been preparing for war with a species that might not even understand what war was. Captain Tae-young, Hyun-woo called on the communication channel. I think we may have made a terrible mistake. What do you mean? I think these aliens are completely peaceful. I think our military preparations have been terrifying them. There was a long pause. Are you certain? No, sir, but the evidence is pointing that way. What if they called for reinforcements not to attack us, but to help them understand us? On the Altarian ships, a similar realization was beginning to dawn. High Mediator Zephana had been studying the human vessels with the most advanced sensors the Altarians possessed. Science Officer Catherine, I want you to analyze the human ships again, but this time, do not look for weapons. Look for everything else. Catherine ran new scans, focusing on non-military systems. High Mediator, this is very interesting. Behind all those weapons, they have very sophisticated science equipment, and their communication systems are much more advanced than I first thought. What else? Their ships have very good life support. Systems, comfortable living areas, even what appears to be recreation facilities. These are not just warships, they are ships designed for long-term exploration. Zephana began to understand. They are explorers like us. But they come from a place where exploration is dangerous, so they arm their ships for protection. But why would exploration be dangerous? Perhaps they come from a part of space where there are hostile species. Or perhaps their home region has natural dangers we do not face here. For the first time since the standoff began, both sides started to understand that they might have completely misunderstood each other. The humans were not warlike conquerors. They were careful explorers. The Altarians were not planning some complex attack. They were peaceful diplomats trying to make friends, but understanding. The problem in solving it were two very different things. Both fleets were still facing each other in space, weapons charged and ready, with both sides afraid to make the first move toward peace. The breakthrough came when Communications Officer GA finally managed to establish a basic translation link between the human and Altarian communication systems. It was not perfect, but it was enough for simple words and concepts to pass between. The ships, Captain Hyun-woo, I have a connection. Jia announced excitedly. I can send basic messages to them now. Hyun-woo felt his heart racing. This was the moment that would determine whether first contact would end in friendship or tragedy. Send this message. We are peaceful explorers. We do not want to fight. The message traveled through space and was received by the Altarian communication systems. On the silent whisper, Commander Veltar read the translation on his display and felt a wave of relief wash over him. They say they are peaceful, he told his crew. They do not want to fight? Should I respond, Commander? Asked his communication officer. Yes, send back. We are also peaceful. We want to be friends. When this message reached the human ships, Captain Hyun-woo closed his eyes and let out a long breath. Thank the stars, he whispered, but High Mediator Zephana, watching from her diplomatic vessel, knew that words alone would not be enough to solve this crisis. Both fleets were still in battle formation, weapons charged and ready. One mistake could still start a war. Commander Veltar, this is High Mediator Zephana. Request permission to open direct communication with the human commander. Permission. Granted, High Mediator. Zephana activated her ship's most powerful communication system. Human vessels, this is High Mediator Zephana of the Altarian Confederation. I request to speak directly with your leader. Captain Hyun-woo received the message and made a quick decision. This is Captain Hyun-woo of the Earthship Bright Dawn. I am ready to talk. Captain Hyun-woo, I believe we have both made serious Mistakes, my people and your people have misunderstood each other. Will you help me fix this before someone gets hurt? Yes, High Mediator, I want to fix this too. What followed was the strangest and most important conversation in the history of both species. Through the basic translation system, Captain Heian Wu and High Mediator Zafana began to explain their people's different approaches to space exploration. My people have been exploring space for over 3,000 years, Zafana explained. In all that time, we have never encountered a hostile species. Every civilization we have met has been peaceful or has quickly chosen peace over conflict. Han Wu was amazed. Every species, no wars, no conflicts? None. We assumed this was normal for all intelligent life. We build our ships for exploration, science, and diplomacy because these are the only tools we have ever needed. Han Wu had to explain. Humanity's very different experience. High Mediator, humans have been fighting wars for our entire history. Even in space, we have encountered dangerous situations. We build our ships with weapons because space exploration can be deadly. Deadly how? Space pirates, hostile alien probes, dangerous natural phenomena. We have learned that if you want to explore safely, you must be ready to defend yourself. This was a shocking revelation to Zafana. Pirates? In space? But why would anyone choose to be a pirate when there are so many planets to explore and resources to share? Not everyone thinks the way your people do, High Mediator. Some beings choose to take things instead of working for them. Lieutenant Commander B.O. Ra, listening from the Silver Arrow, spoke up. High Mediator, can I ask you something? How do your people handle dangerous situations? What do you do if someone threatens you? We talk to them, Zafana replied simply. We find out what they need and help them get it peacefully. We have never met anyone who would not listen to reason. The human crews found this hard to believe. A species that had never needed to fight? It seemed impossible. Chief Engineer Dong Ho had been studying the Altarian ships throughout the conversation. Captain Haiyan Wu, I understand now why their ships look so strange to us. They have optimized everything for efficiency and cooperation. Their technology is incredible, but it is all designed around the assumption that everyone in space is friendly. Science Officer Catherine, monitoring the conversation from the Altarian side, made her own discoveries about human technology. High Mediator, the human ships are fascinating. They have managed to combine military systems with exploration equipment in ways I have never seen. Their engineering is designed around the assumption that danger could come at any time. What does this tell us? Zafana asked. It tells us that they come from a very different part of the galaxy than we do. Perhaps their region of space really is more dangerous than ours. Captain Tae-young, who had been quietly listening to the conversation, finally spoke up. High Mediator, can I ask you about your military forces? What do you do if diplomacy fails? There was a long pause before Zafana answered. Captain, we do not have military forces. We have never needed them. Never? What about your planetary defenses, your security forces? We have police to help people who are lost or confused, and rescue teams to help people in accidents. But we have no military. The human commanders found this almost impossible to understand. A civilization with no military? How had they survived? For thousands of years? How do you protect yourselves? Dora asked. From what? All the species we know are peaceful. Natural disasters we handle with science and engineering. There has never been anything we needed to fight. Navigator So-min had been studying the positions of both fleets during the conversation. Captain, I think I understand what happened. When we arrived, we immediately went into standard military formation. To them, this must have looked like we were preparing to attack. And when they moved into their formation, it looked to us like they were surrounding us, Haiyan Wu realized. Exactly. Every move we made to stay safe looked threatening to them. Every move they made to communicate looked tactical to us. The two groups of ships had been trapped in a spiral of misunderstanding, each side's careful behavior making the other side more nervous. High Mediator, Haiyan Wu said, I think our peoples have a lot to learn from each other. I agree, Captain. Your people have developed amazing technology for surviving in dangerous situations. My people have learned how to build a peaceful galaxy. Perhaps together we can create something even better." Slowly, carefully, both fleets began to stand down from their alert status. The human ships powered down their weapons while keeping them ready. The Altarian ships increased their peaceful broadcasts and began sharing information about their civilization. "Captain," Jay said, "the translation system is getting better. I'm learning more about their language every minute." "Good. Keep working on it. This is just the beginning." Science Officer Catherine made a similar report to her commander. "Sir, I'm starting to understand their mathematical systems. They are different from ours, but not wrong, just based on different assumptions about how space exploration works." As the hours passed, both sides learned more about each other. The humans discovered that the Altarians had developed incredible technology for communication, cooperation, and resource sharing. The Altarians learned that humans had become masters of survival, protection, and adaptation to dangerous environments. "No," Captain Tae-young said to his crew. "I think we just became part of something much bigger than Earth." On the Altarian ship, Commander Veltar was thinking the same thing. These humans could teach us so much about surviving in the dangerous parts of the galaxy. And perhaps we can teach them that not all of space needs to be dangerous. High Mediator. Zafano was already making plans. "Captain Hyun-woo, would your people be interested in establishing formal diplomatic relations?" "I think they would be very interested, High Mediator. But it will take time to arrange everything properly." "We have all the time in the galaxy, Captain. Some things are worth doing slowly and carefully." For the first time since the crisis began, both sides felt hope instead of fear. They had come close to starting an interstellar war, but instead they had discovered something much more valuable, a new friend among the stars. 6 months had passed since the first contact incident that nearly became the first interstellar war. Now, Captain Hyun-woo stood on the observation deck of the brand-new Friendship Station, watching human and Altarian ships working together. In perfect harmony, the station was a marvel of combined engineering. Human military-grade construction methods had been merged with Altarian efficiency and beauty. The result was a structure that was both incredibly strong and amazingly graceful. It could survive almost any disaster, but it also looked like a work of art floating in space. "Captain, the morning patrol is returning," said Lieutenant Commander Biora over the communication system. She now commanded a mixed crew of humans and Altarians on the fast attack ship Silver Arrow, which had been converted from a pure warship into an exploration and protection vessel. The morning patrol was something that would have been impossible to imagine 6 months ago. Human ships with their weapons and armor worked alongside Altarian vessels with their advanced sensors and communication systems. Together, they could handle any situation that arose in the space around the station. "Any problems?" Hyun-woo asked. "Just a merchant ship with engine trouble. We towed them to the repair dock." The Altarian engineers are already working on fixing their ship. This was typical of how things work now. Human crews were good at dealing with emergencies and dangerous situations. Altarian crews were excellent at solving technical problems and helping people. Together, they made an incredibly effective team. Commander Veltar joined Hyun-woo on the observation deck. The Altarian officer had become Hyun-woo's closest friend and partner in running the station. "The morning reports are very good," he said. "Trade between our peoples is increasing every week. And no security incidents for over a month," Hyun-woo added. "Your people are learning that sometimes a show of force prevents conflict rather than causing it. And your people are learning that most problems can be solved without weapons." Veltar replied with what humans had learned was the Altarian equivalent of a smile. The friendship between humans and Altarians had grown quickly once they understood each other. Humans were fascinated by Altarian technology and philosophy. Altarians were amazed by human adaptability and determination. Both species discovered they had much to learn from the other. Communications Officer GA approached them, carrying a data pad with the latest reports. She had become the chief translator for the station and was now fluent in 3 Altarian languages. "Captain, we have received a message from Earth. They are sending a full diplomatic mission next month." "That is excellent news," Hyun-woo said. "What about from the Altarian side?" High Mediator Zafana reports that the Confederation Council has voted to establish permanent relations with humanity. They are also sending a full embassy. Veltar was pleased. "This means both our governments have officially approved of our friendship?" The success of the station had surprised everyone. When it was first proposed, many people on both sides had doubts. Humans worried that the Altarians were too trusting and would be helpless if real danger arose. Altarians worried that humans were too aggressive and would cause conflicts with other species. Instead, the combination had proved to be incredibly powerful. Human military knowledge had taught the Altarians how to deal with the dangerous parts of the galaxy that they had always avoided. Altarian diplomatic skills had shown humans how to make friends instead of enemies wherever possible. Chief Engineer Dong-ho came over to join the group. His hair was now completely gray, but he moved with the energy of a much younger man. Working with Altarian technology had excited him more than anything else in his long career. "The new engine design is ready for testing," he announced. "By combining our power systems with their efficiency improvements, we have created something neither of our peoples could build alone." "How much improvement?" Hyun-woo asked. "The new engines are 40% more powerful than our old ones, but they use 30% less fuel. And they are much quieter, so they will not interfere with Altarian communication systems." This was typical of the innovations that came from human-Altarian cooperation. Humans contributed strength and durability. Altarians contributed efficiency and elegance. The results were always better than either species could achieve alone. Science. Officer Kethrin was working nearby with a mixed team of human and Altarian researchers. She had become an expert on human engineering and was now teaching other Altarians how to build stronger, more durable equipment. "The new sensor array is online," she reported. "With human construction techniques, our sensors are now protected well enough to work in dangerous environments. We can explore parts of space that were too risky before. And with Altarian sensor technology, we can see things we never imagined," added Dr. Sun-mi, a human scientist who had joined the station's research team. "Yesterday, we detected a planet with signs of intelligent life from over 50 light-years away. These were the kinds of discoveries that made the station special. Neither species could have achieved such things alone. Humans provided the courage and protection needed to explore dangerous places. Altarians provided the wisdom and technology needed to understand what they found." Captain Tae-young arrived for the weekly command meeting, bringing news from his patrol sector. "The pirate problem in Sector 7 has been completely solved," he reported. "When the pirates saw our combined fleet approaching, they decided to become honest traders instead of fighting." "How did you convince them?" Veltar asked, still amazed. "By the idea that some beings chose to be criminals. We did not have to convince them," Tae-young replied. "The Altarian diplomats talked to them about legitimate trading opportunities, while the human warships showed them what would happen if they chose to keep being pirates. Most of them decided that honest work was better than being destroyed. This had become the standard approach for dealing with hostile groups in space. Altarian diplomats would offer peaceful solutions while human warships made it clear that violence was not a good option. It worked remarkably well." "Speaking of pirates," GA said, "we have received a request for help from the Centauri Republic. They are having trouble with raiders and they want to hire our combined patrol service. That would be our 5th contract this month," Hyun-woo noted. "Word is spreading that human Altarian teams can solve problems that neither species could handle alone." High Mediator Zafana appeared on the main communication screen, calling in from her diplomatic ship. "Friends, I have wonderful news. 3 more species have requested to join our cooperation program." "Which species?" Veltar asked. "The Rigel Merchants Guild wants us to help them establish safer trade routes. The Vega Research Collective wants to learn our combined exploration techniques. And the Proxima Defense League wants to know how we maintain peace in such a large area of space. Han Wu felt a sense of pride and amazement. 6 months ago, he had been exploring empty space with a single ship. Now he was part of something that was changing the entire galaxy. High Mediator. Do you think we can handle that much expansion? I believe we must try, Captain. What we have built here is too valuable to keep to ourselves. Other species need to learn that there is a better way to live in space than constant fear or constant conflict. As the meeting ended and everyone returned to their duties, Haiyan Wu remained on the observation deck with Veltar. They watched ships from a dozen different species coming and going from the station's docks. Human warships worked alongside Altarian science vessels. Merchant ships from across the galaxy brought goods and ideas to trade. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if we had actually fought that first day? Veltar asked. I try not to think about it, Haiyan Wu replied. But I know it would have been a disaster for both our peoples. Instead, we found something neither of us expected. What is that? We found that being different does not mean being enemies. We found that the galaxy is big enough for many different ways of thinking. Han Wu nodded, watching a human patrol ship escort an Altarian research vessel toward an unexplored nebula. The human ship would protect the researchers from any dangers they might encounter. The Altarian ship would make sure they understood and respected any new life they might find. You know what I think? Haiyan Wu said. I think this is just the beginning. Human courage and Altarian wisdom together can accomplish things that neither of our peoples ever dreamed of. Then let us dream bigger dreams, Veltar replied. The galaxy is waiting to see what we can build together. Above them, the stars shined down on a galaxy that was becoming a little bit safer, a little bit more peaceful, and a lot more interesting because two very different species had learned to work together. The age of human and Altarian cooperation had begun, and the universe would never be the same.